The forest was eerily silent, broken only by the snap of twigs under his feet. He awoke among the dense pines of Oregon with no memory of who he was or how he had gotten there. Clutched in his hand was a sword, unlike any he had ever seen, its hilt engraved with glowing symbols that pulsed faintly. As he struggled to rise, he felt a surge of power and fear intertwining in his veins. Somewhere nearby, he sensed he was not alone. Shadowy figures moved in the distance, observing him with calculated intent. Suddenly, a group of men in tactical gear emerged, their guns trained on him, and he instinctively swung the sword, cutting through the air with unnatural precision. The blade seemed to fight alongside him, glowing brighter as it struck. In the chaos, a young journalist named Maya witnessed the encounter from behind a tree. Fascinated and terrified, she realized he was more than an ordinary man. She decided to follow him, sensing that this mysterious warrior and his cursed sword held a story that could change everything. But as night fell, the sword emitted a chilling hum, hinting at the darkness it carried, and the true danger was only beginning. The city lights of Seattle flickered as the warrior and Maya moved cautiously through the empty streets. They had hoped to find refuge, but the sword's presence seemed to attract danger. Bodies of those who had encountered the weapon earlier were found across the city, their expressions frozen in terror. The warrior began having flashes of memory, visions of a battlefield long ago, ancestral enemies, and a family betrayed by their own kin. Each vision left him trembling, but the sword's power called to him, promising strength and vengeance. Maya tried to understand the strange energy surrounding him, noting the almost supernatural speed and precision with which he moved. They discovered a message left by someone who seemed to know the sword's history, warning that the blade was not merely a weapon but a living curse that demanded blood. As they navigated dark alleys and abandoned warehouses, they encountered a stranger with a scarred face who claimed to be a guardian of ancient knowledge. "Once it chooses you, death follows," he said, his eyes filled with dread. That night, the warrior slept with the sword beside him, feeling its pulse as if it were alive. The city had become a labyrinth of shadows, and with every step, the cursed blade whispered secrets of power and peril. The roar of helicopters cut through the night as the government's secretive agency, Project Eclipse, intensified their hunt. High-tech drones scanned the skies while operatives tracked the warrior's every move. He and Maya had to stay ahead, but each encounter with the agents revealed the sword's terrifying capabilities. It could slice through steel, deflect bullets, and even manipulate shadows to confuse their enemies. The warrior realized he was the last surviving member of an ancient clan tasked with guarding the sword, a lineage thought destroyed centuries ago. As he trained, he discovered that wielding the sword came at a cost. Each strike drained more than energy. It aged his body slightly, leaving him weaker with every use. Maya tried to document their journey, believing that understanding the sword's origin was key to survival. Project Eclipse's agents cornered them in a deserted warehouse, but the warrior's reflexes, enhanced by the sword, allowed them to escape narrowly. Blood and sweat mixed with the supernatural hum of the blade, and every movement felt predestined. In the shadows, someone watched, recording their every move, ensuring the sword's legacy would continue to haunt those who dared touch it. They ventured deep into the Nevada desert, where an abandoned military bunker lay hidden beneath the sand. Inside, traps and relics from past experiments created a labyrinthine nightmare. The warrior moved carefully, sensing the sword guiding him, showing glimpses of past battles and ancient betrayals. Cages held monstrous creatures, products of the sword's curse, which seemed bound to protect its secrets. Maya followed, documenting everything while hiding her fear behind determination. The warrior's memories became clearer, revealing that his ancestors had been betrayed by one of their own, a betrayal that unleashed the sword's curse centuries ago. Each step deeper into the bunker heightened the sword's resonance, and whispers echoed in his mind, warning him of impending doom. They discovered a hidden portal, sealed by symbols matching the sword's hilt, which began to react violently. A surge of dark energy burst forth, shaking the entire bunker. The warrior realized that the portal was a gateway to an ancient evil, waiting for the sword to release it. Maya's eyes widened as shadows twisted around them, and the warrior braced himself for a confrontation that could determine the fate of everyone they cared about. In a town frozen in time, remnants of the warrior's clan awaited, guarding knowledge long buried by centuries of secrecy. The streets were empty, silent witnesses to a forgotten past. Here, the warrior learned of a ritual that could break the sword's curse, a ritual that required the wielder to confront their deepest fears and offer a sacrifice. Maya struggled to accept the cost, but she believed in the warrior's ability to overcome. They explored hidden libraries and temples, uncovering ancient manuscripts and weapons that detailed the sword's bloody history. The warrior felt the weight of his ancestors' sins pressing down, their voices urging him toward redemption. Nights were restless. The sword's whispers grew louder, promising power and vengeance. They trained tirelessly, preparing for the ritual while evading rogue hunters sent by Project Eclipse. The sword reacted violently whenever they approached its intended altar, a foreboding sign that time was running out. As dawn approached, the warrior looked at Maya, realizing that whatever choice he made could cost them both everything. The sword pulsed with anticipation, and the shadows of history closed in, leaving only one path forward. The desert wind carried the scent of betrayal as a trusted ally revealed their true intentions. This person had been a servant of the sword's curse all along, manipulating events to bring the warrior to ruin. The betrayal struck hard, shattering the fragile trust they had built. The sword's power surged uncontrollably in response, cutting through the walls of a nearby Las Vegas casino, leaving chaos in its wake. Civilians fled in terror as the warrior struggled to regain control, realizing that the curse could not be tamed by force alone. Maya, captured during the attack, lay injured but alive, her life tethered to the warrior's next decision. The cursed sword whispered, urging him to embrace darkness, to accept the power it offered and ignore the consequences. But he resisted, understanding that true strength came from restraint. Flames danced across the city streets as the warrior fought both the curse within and the traitor beside him. The night ended with him barely escaping, carrying Maya to safety, but the destruction and bloodshed left an indelible mark. The world now knew of the sword's existence, and the warrior's path toward redemption had become even more perilous. The Hoover Dam glistened under the moonlight as the warrior faced the cursed ally in a duel that felt predestined. Sparks flew as the sword clashed with dark energy, creating shockwaves that shook the surrounding landscape. Memories of his ancestors filled his mind, battles, betrayals, and sacrifices, and he realized the duel was not just physical but spiritual. Every strike tested his resolve, forcing him to confront the sins of his lineage and the temptation of ultimate power. Maya watched from a distance, praying silently as the fight escalated. The cursed ally merged partially with the sword, gaining supernatural strength, and the warrior's body began to fail under the strain. Yet he remembered the teachings of his clan. The sword demanded balance, not domination. Channeling every ounce of courage, he maneuvered with precision, targeting weaknesses exposed by the curse itself. The dam trembled under their battle, and as dawn approached, the warrior made a final choice, one that would either end the curse or consume him entirely. The city below remained oblivious, unaware that the fate of millions hung in the balance. The city skyline of New York shimmered as chaos erupted from the sword's curse, spreading like wildfire. The warrior confronted the culmination of all the battles, realizing that surrendering the sword was the only way to save Maya and the countless lives at risk. He engaged in a final confrontation with the merged cursed entity, channeling all his skill and ancestral wisdom into a single decisive strike. The sword resisted, fighting for its legacy, but the warrior's will proved stronger. In a blinding flash of light, the curse was severed, and the sword was buried beneath the city streets, its power contained for now. Maya, battered but alive, embraced him, tears streaming down both their faces. The warrior vanished shortly after, leaving only whispers in the wind, a legend that would endure in secret. Somewhere in the shadows, a figure discovered the buried sword, smiling as if anticipating the chaos yet to come, hinting that the curse was never truly gone and the story was far from over.